course we are dealing, this is the last lecture on gravitation I'm going to have with you today. Of course you are aware of Newton's law of gravitation and all the things. The term which is coming with you now is, that is weightlessness. Weightlessness, as the term itself is self-explaining term, I should say, that the body behaves like weightless. It means no weight is there. Two things are there. One is the mass. Mass is denoted by small m. That is the quantity of the matter contained in a body. And the second thing is weight. Weight is, I may write it as W. It is given by m into g, where g is the acceleration due to gravity. And of course the term gravity we are using when we are on the earth. So gravitational force is there between any two bodies when I am on the earth. So this weight W, that is equals to mg, while mass is the quantity of matter contained in a body. So mass of a body is remaining fixed, but weight of the body can change under different conditions. Like if g is 0, if I say g is 0, then weight W will become equals to 0. So this condition, when weight of the body, it means that is becoming equals to 0, then I say that the body starts behaving like weightless. So that condition, when the body is behaving like weightless, that condition of the body is termed as weightlessness. It means that weightlessness is the condition of the body when weight of the body it is becoming equals to 0. So like we have discussed in the laws of motion chapter, that when a lift is falling freely, then A becomes equals to G, which is equals to, then apparent weight here becomes equals to 0. So when a body is in the freely falling lift, I can say freely falling lift, it behaves like in the condition of weightlessness. Similarly, when we are in the spacecraft, like you must have seen in the movies also, that when the people are there in the space, then they starts floating over there. They are not able to stand in a proper way, because there the g it is nearly equals to 0. They behave like weightless, so they are not able to stay on the surface of the plane. So it means the gravity is playing a great role. Because of the acceleration due to gravity here on the earth, you are able to stand, you are able to sit, you are in a stable position. So you are showing some weight. Weighing machines you are using, that is giving you weight. That is, the body is getting attracted towards the center of earth with a force. That force is the, we have already discussed that when I am taking a body, then the force which is acting on the first body due to the earth is towards the earth, away from that body. So the force direction is this, and this force it is equals to yours mg, and this is of course equals to g m1 m2 divided by r square by the Newton's law of gravitation. So when I am here, like we have done the numericals in the at this point, that when I am moving from earth to sun or earth to moon, in between you find a point where the net force acting on the body is 0. So those points where the net force acting on the body is 0 while moving from one planet to other or from one heavenly body to other, those points are termed as null point. It means forces acting on this body due to this here. If I am taking some another planet or some other thing with you, like moon I may take, satellite I may take, then the force will be here to F1 if it is equals to F2. Under that condition in the space, those points we call it as the null. And of course at the center of earth, we have proved that GD it is equals to G into 1 minus D. 1 minus d upon r. So if d equals to r, means we are going in the center of earth, then also g is becoming 0. So when g becomes 0, then the body starts behaving like weightless. So these are the conditions under which the body can behave like weightless. If I'm taking mass is fixed, even if I go to moon, I go to some other planet, mass of the body is not changing, but weight of the body it changes because of the change in the acceleration due to gravity. Like when I'm going to moon, then acceleration due to gravity is becoming 1/6 as compared to earth, because of the mass of the moon is less than the mass of the earth. And so weight there changes, but mass is not changing. Mass I can have under two categories. I can divide them. One is inertial mass, another is gravitational mass. Inertial mass, like we have done with the Newton's law of inertia, that is due to the acceleration produced in the body. Like I'm having a body, I'm making the body to move, and due to that movement, the mass of the body, whatever is coming, that is termed as the inertial mass, means because of its state of having the acceleration. So the formula for inertial mass, you have to get it from the Newton's second law of motion. Inertial mass, you have to write it like Newton's second law of motion. You all know that F, it is equals to ma. Here the mass which I am taking is the inertial mass, so that can be written as mi. So mi is the inertial mass. I can write it with the help of Newton's second law of motion. Of course, force is a vector quantity and the direction will be same as that of the acceleration in which the body is moving. So magnitude, if I go with the inertial mass, it is given by the applied force to the acceleration produced. And it has been seen that inertial mass, if I am talking about when the body is moving with the speed of light, this relation was given by Einstein, that when a body is moving with the speed of light, then mass of the body changes, and it is given by m naught divided by square root of 1 minus v square upon c square. Here, of course, m naught is the rest mass of the body. M naught is the rest mass of the body, v is the speed of the body, c is the speed of light. So m mass, inertial mass, it changes only when the body is moving with such a high speed of the speed of light. While gravitational mass, if I want to give, it is given by the Newton's law of gravitation, because you know Newton's law of gravitation, that is equals to g m divided by r square. Here this m mass, I can write it as mg. So the mass which is given by the Newton's law of gravitation or the universal law of gravitation, that mass we are calling it as the gravitational mass. But see, whether I do find the mass by using this law, means the law of gravitation, or I find it by using the second law, Einstein proved it that these both the masses are actually same. It means gravitational mass, it is equals to the inertial mass, that can be proved experimentally. So mass is remaining the same whether I do talk about the inertial mass or I talk about the gravitational mass, because mass is the quantity of matter contained in the body. Inertial balance is the balance by which I can measure the inertial mass, like we have done the simple pendulum. In the simple pendulum experiment, we did that I am making a bob to vibrate, means to oscillate between the mean and the extreme positions like this. Similarly, here also we are keeping the mass, we make it oscillate along a line, come back, and then I want to make it in the other direction, and then I allow it to come back. So this way it is oscillating horizontally, this way. So oscillations are produced directly proportional to m. So by knowing this relation, if I am able to find the time period is time of oscillation of this. So I will keep on changing the masses, like slotted masses I can use 20, 40, and then I can put the unknown mass, I can produce the oscillations, and then I can find the unknown mass by simply comparing the things or by graph plotting. Like if I want to do by comparison, I can have m1 divided by m2, that is equals to period for the known masses. Then I compare the value, I can find the unknown mass by using the inertial balance. This is the balance in which of course you can see one side is fixed, another side it can move, means oscillate, this plate on which the mass is being kept. This is by motion we are finding, so we are calling this as the inertial mass. Gravitational mass you can find by using the physical balance. This is physical balance with you. Of course, you have seen this balance with the jewelers. The known weight on one side, unknown weight is kept on the other side. Here the pointer is there in between, and the side to which this pointer moves, on that side the weight is less. So I can of course close these windows. These are just opened to put the masses. Then we close it, and here you can see they are resting on this one beam. These fans are resting on this beam, and when you can see the torque produced, torque 1 in the first fan, it is equals to torque 2. It means we bring it in the rotational equilibrium. So under the rotational equilibrium, the masses in both the fans are equal because the acceleration due to gravity small g acting on these two fans is same. So g on both the sides is getting cancelled. So physical balance here is working on the basis that m1g it is equals to m2g. So g on both the sides and both the fans it is equal. So m1 it is equals to m2. So if known mass is kept in one fan, I can find the value of unknown mass. So masses I can say they are equal because weights on these fans are equal. So actually we are saying we are measuring the weight here on the earth. And of course, as I've said, it is working on the basis of your law of movements, rotational equilibrium. We can say that F1 D1 it is equals to F2 D2. So forces acting and the distance should be equal from the central beam. D1 and D2 should be equal. So that principle of movements is the basis for this physical balance. Beta, you can derive the Newton's law of gravitation using Kepler's third law by having your knowledge of the satellite also and all that knowledge with you. Like if I'm taking Earth and here I'm taking the satellite, or you may take Sun and Earth, any two bodies in the universe can be taken. And if this body of mass small m is revolving around the Earth in this fixed orbit, then the force is centripetal force is equals to m v naught square by r. If v naught I have taken as the orbital velocity. This orbital velocity, if small r is the radius, then I can write v naught it is equals to 2 pi r by g, circumference divided by the time period. And if you put this value of v naught here, I am getting m upon r into 2 pi r divided by t whole square. Now if you open this bracket by solving it, I am getting this force is coming out to be 4 pi square mr divided by t square. This I am calling it as equation number 1. I have got this equation simply by having this concept of circular motion, that the force between the two bodies when a body is moving in the circular orbit around the mass m, then it is given by small m v naught square by r. Now Kepler said that your t square it is directly proportional to r cube. So if you replace, remove the sign of proportionality, I am getting a constant which can be written as k. So I am getting t square it is equals to kr cube. This value of t square you can put in equation number 1. Then I will be getting here 4 pi square mr divided by kr cube. So r will get cancelled and I am left with this equation with me, that is f it is equals to 4 pi square upon k into m upon r square. So this force is coming directly proportional to the mass of the body and the distance of the body from the earth or from the heavenly body around which the second body is revolving. So this constant 4 pi square upon k is a constant. This was proved experimentally only. That is coming out to be equals to capital G m by the Cavendish experiment. And when I can replace this value, I am getting F it is equals to G capital M small m divided by R square, which is your Newton's law. Question I am reading beta for you. A satellite is orbiting the Earth at a height of 400 kilometers above the surface. So this is the height above the surface. So small r will be equals to capital R plus h. So you can write here that here r plus h, small r will be equals to r plus h. How much energy must be expended to rocket the satellite out of Earth's gravitational influence? The question is to find the energy. So total energy when a satellite is revolving around the Earth then is given by the kinetic energy plus potential energy. Potential energy is minus g mm upon small r. In place of small r, I can write capital R plus h because h is given. Capital R radius of the earth, you all know, though these standard values are also written in the question. They have given you the mass of the satellite, mass of the earth, radius of the earth and gravitational constant. These values are given to you. Kinetic energy half mv square, or you can simply write 1 by 2 m and you can put the value of the orbital velocity, that is square root of gm upon r. So I am getting the total energy, this minus gmm upon 2r. You can directly write this formula. No need to write this separately. You can directly write this. And then total energy which is required to expand the rocket, that is binding energy. Binding energy is equals to minus of total energy. So minus of total energy means you are having this with positive sign now, gmm upon 2r plus h. So you have to put the values. Values are already given to you. Capital G is 6.67 in terms of minus 11. Mass of the earth is 6 into 10 to the 24 kilogram. Mass of the satellite is 200 kilogram. Twice of radius of the earth, that is 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 plus h is given 400 kilometer, that is you can write 0.4 into 10 raised to the power 6, then it will be easy to work out. So take all the powers on one side and all the numeral values on the other side to work out the things. You have to practice beta. Answer I am getting 5.9 into 10 to the power 9 joule. So unit also you should be writing. Formula if you are aware of, you can always work out with the things. So we are keeping the things up to this today. Thank you everyone.